And a very good Monday morning, afternoon, evening, everyone. Joe Benigno back with you again, the Yoda Pain Podcast. Monday, the 1st of December, unbelievable, 2025. The Yoda Pain Podcast brought to you by Manscaped, by Carolina Resort Vacation, and, of course, by my good buddies, of course, my son and everybody at Anita Discount Tire. Lot to get to today. Very busy Monday. We'll start with my football team. Boy, it's nice to win. It's nice to win. Solid win yesterday. They beat the Falcons 27-24 at MetLife. And I want to say this to all my quote-unquote fellow Jet fans who want them just to lose perpetually so they get this higher draft choice. It's nonsense, okay? You want to see building. You want to see this team building, learning how to win football games. I would love to see them run the table the rest of the year, and that's not going to happen. They got 5 games left. They're not going to win them all, but they're going to win a couple more games. I think they definitely are. You got a winnable game against the Dolphins this week at MetLife. Love to see them stick it up McDonald and Miami's ass. I'll tell you that. Wouldn't you love to see them beat the Patriots? I doubt they will, but wouldn't you love to see it? Or Buffalo? Of course you would. Of course you would. And this team, I tell you, for the first time in years, I am starting to feel pretty good about where this organization is. And I still have my questions about the coach, but you know what? Here's the number one thing when you're talking about Aaron Glenn. This team is playing for him. They play hard for him. They clearly haven't quit, even though they're long out of any kind of playoff contention. They continue to play hard for Glenn. And that is a big deal. And there's a lot of younger players on this team, young players that are starting really to establish themselves. The moves that Darren Muji has made so far, you got to be happy with some of the things Muji has done. How about the addition of A.D. Mitchell, who had a monster game yesterday, 8 catches, 102 yards, that 52-yard touchdown bomb, the first touchdown of his career, from Tyrod Taylor. This guy was a throw-in in the Sauce Gardner trade. Just think about this, Jet fans, okay? And someday we may look back at this Sauce Gardner trade as one of the greatest trades in the history of ever, okay? They traded an overrated corner who, by the way, got hurt yesterday for the Colts, went out of the game. I don't know when he's coming back. They traded one of the most overrated players in the NFL for 2 number 1 picks, and this kid Mitchell, who looks like he could be, at the very least, a solid number 2 receiver to Garrett Wilson. Doesn't he? Solid. What a trade by Muji. I got confidence in this guy. He stole Mechie from, even though Mechie didn't have a good game yesterday, he dropped a couple passes, some big drops he had. He had a big holding penalty that killed the drive early in the game. But still, we've seen Mechie, even though he wasn't good yesterday, looks like he got something with him. He stole him from Michael Carter, who was not going to be part of the deal anymore for this franchise. The Quinnen Williams trade, and good job, good for Quinnen that he's playing well for the Cowboys, who are red hot. God bless him. Like I said many times, he could turn out to be the next Bob Lilly or Randy White, and God bless him. That's fine with me. But it wasn't happening with him here, and he didn't want to be here anymore. And you got a number 1 and a number 2 for this guy. I mean, the Jets are really set up well the next couple of years. Now, they got to hit on it. They got to hit on these draft choices. They got to find their quarterback. But right now, you're seeing progress with this team. And like I said, they're playing hard for Aaron Glenn. And if Tyrod Taylor would have been the quarterback all year, now who knows if he would have stayed healthy, but if Tyrod Taylor would have been the quarterback all year, this team would have, probably at least 2 or 3 more wins. And maybe we're looking at them in a little different light. And he was terrific yesterday. And was he off the charts? I mean, no, he only threw for 176 yards, but no turnovers. Jets did not turn the ball over yesterday. Still haven't had an interception in 12 games, which is mind-boggling. But they didn't turn the ball over yesterday, right? Tyrod made some big plays, not only throwing the ball, but with his legs. How about that touchdown run to tie the game? That was unbelievable on a 3rd down play for Tyrod. He had a big run on the game-winning field goal drive by Nick Folk. A big 1st down, 14-yard run there to get the Jets in position. So he had a solid game yesterday. Now, if he'd been playing all year, maybe they have a few more wins. But this was a terrific win. And let's be honest, me too. I mean, I'm just as bad as anybody. I mean, I'm the king of negativity, and I didn't feel good about them winning this game. They scored first, and they had lost 10 straight games where they scored first. Thank God they ended that. Um, you know, they ended that streak because the Jets are the king of negative streaks, and they ended that streak. That was great. And how about the special teams here? Is there any team in the NFL that has better special teams than the Jets? This guy Chris Banjo, the coach, what a job he's done. Just think about this. Just think about the contributions of the special teams yesterday. Their first touchdown is set up on a muff punt that Stiggers, the kid Quantez Stiggers, recovers on a 2-yard line. Next play, Breece Hall is in for a touchdown. By the way, the Jets' record, and Breece Hall had a pedestrian game yesterday. He only rushed for about 66 yards. I don't know why they don't throw the ball to him more. He only caught a couple passes, whatever. But he did score that touchdown and give him a 7-0 lead early from the 2-yard line. When Breece Hall scores a touchdown, the Jets win. Their record is 18-5. Think about it.
Damn.
When the Jets win, when Breece Hall puts the ball in the end zone, they're 18-5. And this is for a team what's their record since Breece Hall took over? So basically, every time Breece Hall scores a touchdown, the Jets win the game. Right? Think about that. I mean, that's it sounds insane, but it's the truth. 18-5 when Breece Hall puts the ball in the end zone. It's crazy. There's no doubt about it. And so the special teams set up the first touchdown. They get that 7-0 lead. All right. How about the punter? The punter and the kicker on this team are as good as anybody in football. McNamara is tremendous. He kicking inside the 20 all the time. Folk missed his first kick of the year yesterday, that 56-yard field goal that he missed in the first, I guess it was early second half. Of course, he made up for it with that line drive 2-iron 56-yarder at the gun to win the game for the Jets. So you got one of the best punters in the game, one of the best kickers in the game. Their return game is unbelievable. They got two of the best return men in football in Ngakoue, who they don't even kick to him anymore, and Isaiah Williams, who had a big game yesterday. He had that 83-yard, whatever it was, kick return. I was screaming get in the end zone because I knew if he didn't, they wouldn't score a touchdown, which they didn't. It did set up a field goal at that point that tied the game at 17-17. He had that big return. And then on the final drive, he set up the final game-winning field goal drive with a nice return out to about the 45-yard line. So he had a solid game yesterday, no doubt about it. The return game has been outstanding. Remember the game against Cleveland where, Williams and Ngakoue returned kicks for touchdowns. So they've been solid all year. And even the coverage team has been very good. So they got one of the best special teams in football. I mean, there's no doubt about it. So let's give them praise yesterday. But it was good to win. Now they're still making bad mistakes. Those 2 false starts on the final drive of the game, which almost cost them. I mean, come on. And yesterday, Armand Menbu had probably his worst game. Remember, he got beat on that sack late in the game on that first down play down near the goal line, where Taylor got sacked on the 5-yard line. The Jets were able to overcome that. And he also had a false start penalty on the final drive of the game. And, of course, the Jets had 2 false starts there. So, they had some holding penalties. I mentioned the one on Mechie earlier in the game that wound up, killing the drive. So the mistakes are still there. But they didn't turn the ball over and actually forced a turnover. They only have 2 turnovers all year. They still haven't had an interception in 12 straight games, which is beyond mind-boggling. But it was nice to win. And like I said, Tyrod played a clean game, made the throws he had to make. Mitchell had a phenomenal game yesterday. Right now, you got to be happy with the direction this football team is going. They're set up with all these draft picks, and you want to see him win. Don't worry about the first pick in the draft. The Jets are not getting the first pick. All right? I don't know if Tennessee's winning another game. I want to see Tennessee be the first, get the first pick because they don't need a quarterback. They got Cam Ward. Now, I haven't seen Tennessee play at all this year. So I don't know how Ward's looked. But he doesn't have a very good team there. So, right now you got 2 teams that would pick ahead of the Jets that don't need a quarterback, and that is Tennessee and the Giants. So, that's a good thing as far as I'm concerned. There's teams in this league that are going to need quarterbacks that may finish worse than the Jets. Right now, the Raiders only have 2 wins. They need a quarterback. Geno Smith is shot, right? Cleveland needs a quarterback, as they always do. They got whacked by the Browns yesterday. Another not great game for Shedeur Sanders, and the other guy, Gabriel, stinks too. So, Cleveland, I think, has 3 wins just like the Jets. And remember, the Jets beat Cleveland. I don't know if that really matters. I don't think that factors in. I think it's more strength of schedule than it is head-to-head competition as far as where you pick in the draft. So you got a team like Cleveland that needs one. The Saints need a quarterback. They almost put. How about that game yesterday? How about the Saint game yesterday against Miami? The way that game ended, Saints score a touchdown to make it 19-17. Now they go for the 2-point conversion. The kid quarterback, I forget his name, throws a pick that's returned by Mika Fitzpatrick like 100 yards for 2 points, and that was the final score, 21-17. Are you kidding? Wow. That's and the Dolphins have won 3 games in a row, so they're due to lose when the Jets play them this week at MetLife. I almost feel like going to that game if the weather holds up. I don't know what the weather's going to be Sunday, but I'm sure there'll be plenty of Dolphin fans there. So we need to be there for our team on Sunday. But whatever, be that as it may. So those are the teams. Right now that the Saints need a quarterback, the Browns need a quarterback like they always do, and the Raiders need a quarterback. And all 3 of those teams might finish with a worse record than the Jets. I think there's a good chance that they will. But if you got Tennessee at number 1 and they don't need a quarterback, or the Giants at number 2 and they don't need a quarterback, now would the Giants trade with the Jets? Maybe. I mean, if they're getting enough draft capital, they would. Why not? We got it. I would do this. Here's my trade for the number 1 pick in the draft. If they're that high on Fernando Mendoza or whoever that guy may be, all right? Ty Simpson, Dante Moore. I love the kid Diego Pavia Vanderbilt. I'm telling you, I love this kid. Did you watch him Saturday against Tennessee? This kid's a big-time player, and I know he doesn't have the size, and he probably won't be a first-round pick. Somebody's going to take him in a later round, and he's going to turn out to be a top-flight NFL quarterback. Just remember you heard me say that. But whatever, all right? Whatever. The bottom line is I'll give you 2 number 1s, number 1 this year, number 1 next year, right? Okay? And a number 2 this year to move up to get the number 1 pick in the draft. If that's the way it plays out, that's what I would do. And if Tennessee's there, they don't need a quarterback, or at least we don't think so. I mean, who knows? I don't know how they feel about Cam Ward at this point in time. I wouldn't give up on him yet. I mean, they're not a very good team. Caleb Williams didn't look too good last year, and look at what the Bears are doing now. Right now they're the number 1. Amazingly enough, the number 1 seed in the NFC right now is the Chicago Bears. Think about that, football fans. That's mind-boggling when you think about it. So, we'll see how it plays out. And the number 1 seed in the AFC right now is the Patriots. So, I mean, it's just unbelievable. And both of them with second-year young quarterbacks and first-year head coaches. Think about that, okay? Think about that. Maybe we got something with Aaron Glenn. Let's see. The jury's still out on him. Let's see. And he's going to be here for the next couple of years. He's going to be part of these drafts. There's no doubt about it. But I like what Darren Muji has done, and I liked winning yesterday. That was a nice win. Nick Folk, the Jets should have never got rid of him. The last time Nick Folk kicked a game-winning field goal at the gun was all the way back in the playoffs in 2010 against the Colts in Indianapolis. I was there. My wife was there. I'll never forget the reaction. That turned out to be Peyton Manning's last game as a Colt, by the way. I'll never forget the reaction. We're at the game at Lucas Oil, wonderful Lucas Oil Stadium, right? My wife had her eyes closed. She couldn't watch. So Folk makes the kick, and she's like, boy, it's really quiet in here. I said, yeah, that's a good thing. He made the kick. Exactly.
How stupid.
How stupid. So that's the last time. It wasn't stupid, but that's the last time that Nick made one. I love Nick Folk. He's one. They should have never let him go. But that Jet special teams is really, really terrific. And how about this kid, Isaiah Williams? Remember, he got cut. He had that big fumble in the Dolphin game, 2 months ago, and Glenn cut him, brought him back, and ever since he's brought him back, he's been tremendous. He's been instrumental in every game the Jets have won this year. So, all 3 wins so far. So, special teams have been great. I feel good about this team. I do. That for the first time in years, that maybe they have a hierarchy that knows what they're doing. This guy, Muji, looks like he knows what the hell he's doing. I mean, You look at it. Look at even his first draft. These guys are all playing. Membo's playing. He's been good. Like I said, he had a rough game yesterday, but okay. He's a rookie right tackle, but he's been solid. Mason Taylor's been solid. Need to get him the ball more. Second round pick tight end. AZ Thomas is playing. They're playing hard in the secondary. Thomas, Malachi Moore. These guys were all draft picks, and they're all playing right now. That tells you something. This guy Muji, maybe he knows what he's doing. Maybe I'm confident that he's going to get the right quarterback. I think I am. And I couldn't say that about Mike McCagnon. I couldn't say that about Joe Douglas, right? I mean, certainly couldn't say it about John freaking Idzik. Maybe for the first time we got something as far as our general manager here. But it was good to win yesterday. I enjoyed it. And hopefully Tyrod Taylor can stay healthy. And I'm hearing rumors that Justin Fields wants out. So cut him. Let him go. See you. Go take your $30 million and get the hell out of here. That was $30 million well spent. That's the one big mistake so far that Glenn has made. Okay? And look, you look back now at the Rodgers thing. Rodgers looked shot yesterday. If you saw him yesterday against Pittsburgh, I know he's hurt. Against the Bills. I know he's hurt, but he looks shot. The Steelers they look like they're out of it. Devontae Adams is having a pretty good year. He caught 2 more, even though the Rams lost yesterday to the very surprising Carolina Panthers. 2 more touchdown catches for Devontae Adams yesterday. He got 12 touchdowns this year, leads the NFL. First ballot Hall of Famer. He's walking in, So, look, say whatever you want. I know they're 3-9. It's another losing season, and you can complain. Like I said, if you're a real Jet fan, stop wanting them to lose, okay? Stop wanting them to lose. They got the draft capital to make the move they need to make to get the quarterback that they think is the right guy. And remember, even if they didn't get the right guy this year, they got the draft capital next year to get another one. And I'm telling you, I don't know what the state of Arch Manning is, but I'm telling you right now, of all these guys, Mendoza, Simpson, Pavia, Dante Moore, Lenoris Sellers, all these, he hasn't had a great year, and that doesn't always translate to him being bad in the NFL. All these quarterbacks that may be coming out, okay, that you're looking at, the kid from Texas Tech that you're looking at as potentially being the guy, to me, the guy is Arch Manning. And he's been playing a lot better. Texas beat it. Texas A&M the other day on Saturday night ended their undefeated season. And even with 3 losses, to me, Texas has a case to get into the playoffs, because look at the teams that they've beaten 3 top 10 teams. They beat A&M, they beat Vanderbilt, and they beat Oklahoma, okay? 2 of those 3 teams are going to the playoff. And remember, they played Ohio State the first game of the year in Columbus, and actually were the only team to give Ohio State a game. He only lost by a touchdown, 14-7 in that game on opening day. So even with 3 losses, to me, the Longhorns of Texas have a case to get into the playoff. And, you look at it right, and we'll get into it. We'll get into that as we go. We'll get into this whole Lane Kiffin disaster at Ole Miss and all of that. But right now, if you're a Jet fan, you got to feel pretty good about the state of where this franchise is. And let me see them continue to win. Aaron Glenn needs to build a winning, I hate the word culture, but needs to build a winning feeling in that locker room. And it was nice to beat even though they're not very good, it was nice to beat the Atlanta Falcons yesterday. No question about it. All right, let's get the stats in here, the sponsors in here. Manscaped, the holidays are coming up, guys. Ladies, for your man, this is the perfect holiday gift. You'll love it too. The 2025 Male Holiday Performance Package 5.0 Ultra. Again, it means it's time to give the gift of smoothness. And let me tell you something. As I always say, not very good looking. There's no doubt about that. I'm a faded relic, but I am freaking smooth. So give the gift. My wife will be the first to tell you, man, smooth. That first time she met me, man, one thing she said, man, that dude is smooth. So whether you're shopping for your partner, your brother, or yourself, Manscaped Performance Package 5.0 Ultra, the ultimate upgrade, because nothing says happy holidays like a perfectly groomed package. You want that package groomed from top to bottom. From trimming to freshening up, this all-in-one grooming kit keeps you clean, confident, ready for any festive occasion. Go ahead, unwrap confidence this season with Manscaped. Head over to manscaped.com. Join over 13 million worldwide who trust Manscaped. Use code PAIN. I got a lot of that for 15% off your entire order. And remember, not only the performance package, right, which grooms the top and the bottom. Don't forget that bottom grooming that, gives you that illusion of extra inches. We all want that, even if they're not really getting bigger. At least it looks that way, and you love that, okay? No, there's no guy alive that doesn't want a few extra inches. Let's be honest. If that guy's saying he doesn't, he's full of shit. So just keep that in mind. All right? But don't forget the great underwear at Manscaped. Don't forget the shampoo, conditioner, and you can use it as a great body wash as well. Check it out. I love it. Manscaped, give the gift of smooth this holiday season with the Performance Package 5.0 Ultra. Get 15% off your entire order with the code PAIN, manscaped.com. 15% off with the code PAIN, manscaped.com. Stay on top of your grooming and be ready for anything the season throws your way. Now, if you're looking for a great vacation spot, the place to go, Carolina Resort Vacation. Check it out. Plan your next getaway in North Myrtle Beach. What makes it special, 5 spacious bedrooms, each with a private ensuite, with a bathroom, the whole deal. Fully stocked kitchen, ready for family meals or group cooking nights. Arcade-style gaming table with 150-plus classic games. Smart TVs in every room. Entertainment for everyone. Steps from the beach, minutes from Barefoot Landing, mini golf, Ripley's Aquarium, and the Myrtle Beach Boardwalk. The unit is freshly renovated, spotless, and spacious. Perfect for family trips, group getaways, or a relaxing retreat by the ocean. Whether you're soaking up the sun, which I would be, or exploring the local attractions or just enjoying time together, OBLV Unit 2, Carolina Resort Vacation makes every trip unforgettable. And don't forget all those great golf courses, too. North Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Comfort, style, location, all in one. 843-249-6509. Visit CarolinaResortRealty.com to learn more. Start planning your trip today. And last but not least, my son Johnny is great boss Harry over at Anita Discount Tire in Rivervale, New Jersey on Westwood Avenue. Check them out. Whatever your automotive needs are. I'm actually going there this week for a new set of tires. Check that out. You need work done on your car. You need tires. You need your car inspected. Anita Discount Tire on Westwood Avenue in Rivervale, New Jersey is the place to go. See Johnny, see Ari, see everybody over there. Tell them Benigno sent you. Okay. I want to get to this Lane Kiffin disaster at Ole Miss. Now, I have a little emotional attachment to Ole Miss because we have a relative now that goes to Ole Miss, okay? And what a disgrace. This guy, Lane Kiffin, he's always been a dickhead asshole, okay? Let's tell it like it is. This guy's always looking for his next job. He's nothing but a big freaking drama queen. He's been holding Ole Miss hostage for how long with all this nonsense about going to Florida or going to LSU hanging over his head, right? They win their game. They win the Egg Bowl on Friday, beat Mississippi State, 11-1. There is a lock to be in the playoff. And I don't want to hear the committee screwing Ole Miss because this dick decided to leave. Okay? Let's be honest about it. Ole Miss is probably one of the top 5 teams in the country. Never mind 10. They're 11-1. Their only loss was to Georgia. How is this team not in the playoff if they are going to penalize them because of this ass Lane Kiffin? And hopefully that's not going to happen. At the very least, they should be hosting a playoff game. There's no question about it. And I guess this guy Golden, the defensive coordinator, is going to be the guy that's going to take over as head coach. What a disgrace. What a disgrace. And did you see the kids at Ole Miss, the student body, ripping him, howling against him as he's on the tarmac getting a fly off the Baton Rouge? What a disgrace this guy is. And you know what's going to happen, okay? It's going to be the same thing a couple years from now. He's going to get tired of being at LSU, and he's probably going to want to go coach in the NFL. So get ready down there in, like I said, in Baton Rouge at LSU when he gets ready to host your school in a couple years, because that's going to happen. What a disgrace. What a disgrace. And let's hope Ole Miss makes a big run. How great would it be if they won a national championship without Kiffin? And how about the fact that this jerk, okay, this dickhead Kiffin, how about the fact that he had the balls to try to lobby the administration in Oxford to stay on and coach in the playoffs? What? Yeah. They should have booted him weeks ago. Yep. That's what they should have done. They should have got rid of this ass weeks ago. This has been going on for how long, this crap? Yep. What a disgrace. Don't let the door hit you on the way in the ass on the way out, Lane, all right? What a joke. Oh, my God. I hope LSU plays Ole Miss next year and the game is in Oxford. I'm sure that'll be a warm welcome for Mr. Kiffin. I'll tell you that. Now, as far as the playoffs are concerned in college football, what a great college football weekend it was, by the way, right? Now, you got the championship games coming up, and really, to me, the only two that really matter are the Big Ten and the SEC. You got Alabama against Georgia in the SEC championship game. Alabama knocking off Auburn on Saturday night to punch their ticket to the championship game against Georgia. When A&M lost to Texas, that put Georgia in the championship game. And remember, Alabama beat Georgia earlier this year, and they've really had Kirby Smart and Georgia's number over the years. But I think if Georgia wins, Alabama's out. I think they're out. I think Alabama, this is a play-in game for Alabama. I think Georgia's in already, no matter what happens in this game. But if Alabama loses, I think they're out. But they should, either way, they should be in a playoff. The other one is the Big Ten championship game where you got number one against number two, the two undefeated teams in the country, Ohio State and Indiana. And this is going to be interesting. Not only are they playing for the number one seed in the entire playoff, because that's what they're playing for, they're also playing for the Heisman. You got the two leaders for the Heisman Trophy going against it here, Mendoza and Julian Sayin. Now, I think Mendoza should get it over Sayin, but whatever, that's irrelevant. So those are the two big championship games coming up on Saturday. The ACC doesn't really mean much to me. You know, Virginia against Duke. And if Duke beats Virginia, there's no way that they should be in the playoff. I mean, come on. The only team in the ACC that should be in the playoff is Miami. Okay, that's the only one. They got two losses. They got a victory early in the year over Notre Dame, right? They're 10-2. They destroyed Pitt on this past Saturday, beat them 38-7 in Pittsburgh. The last game of the year for them. Miami's the only. I don't care who wins. Virginia can win this game, okay? I don't care. The only ACC team that should be in the playoff is Miami. That's it. They're the only one. And as far as the Big 12 championship game, look, Texas Tech has only one loss. Probably they should be in. Okay, they play BYU. We'll see what happens. I mean, if BYU wins the game, I can't see putting both of them in there. I don't see it. You ask me right now, there's 12 spots as far as the college football playoff is determined. You got 12 spots that are open, all right? Here's the teams and to me, there's 13 teams that really you could make a case for 12 spots. You got the three teams in the Big Ten. All of them are going to be in there. No matter what happens in the Big Ten championship game, it's going to be Ohio State, it's going to be Indiana, and it's going to be Oregon. So you got those three teams from the Big Ten all in there. From the SEC, you could make a case for 6 teams being in there, right? Let's be honest. Texas A&M, who has one loss, Georgia, who has one loss right now, both of them, no doubt, locks to be in there, okay? Right? Alabama, even if they lose, and I think they're going to be out if they lose, but even if they did lose to Georgia, they should be in, okay? They should be in, even with 3 losses, right? I don't think there's any doubt about it. How is Vanderbilt not in there at 10-2 with maybe the most exciting player in the country in Diego Pavia? I mean, you talk about a guy that should win the Heisman, probably him. I mean, he's been unbelievable. I mean, he's put Vanderbilt on the map as they blew out Tennessee on Saturday in Knoxville. I mean, come on. How are they not? I mean, how do you leave them out? I mean, you got to be kidding me. Obviously, Ole Miss, they should be in there. That's 11-1. They only got one loss. They certainly should be in there. Their only loss is to Georgia, of course. They got to be in it. That's a lock to be in, no matter what the Lane Kiffin situation is. I mean, give me a break. What a joke that is. And I'll tell you right now, Texas should be in. Texas has 3 losses, right? And I said this already. I was talking about this already. They beat Texas A&M, Vanderbilt, and Oklahoma. And Oklahoma should be in with only 2 losses, right? As they, were able to get by LSU the other day. They don't have the greatest offense, but they got a very good defense. They're sitting there at 10-2. So all those teams that I just mentioned in the SEC, to me, all have a case to be in there. And the only other 2 teams that are not in the Big Ten or the SEC that have a case to me to be in the playoff are Miami and Notre Dame. That's it. That's it. That should, so that's 13 teams for 12 spots. Who's the team out? Who's the team out? I think if Alabama, as much as they should be in, I think if Alabama loses to Georgia, they should be the team out. Okay? Texas should make it, and Vandy should make it. And forget about all these other teams. I know at Texas Tech, you want to give me out. We'll put Texas Tech in there too. All right? Those are the teams. I think that's 12 out of 13. That's it. That's it. We'll see what the committee does. We'll see it tomorrow night, Tuesday night. They have the breakdown show. And of course, next Sunday, 12 o'clock before the NFL games start, right after the conference championship games on Saturday, you will see the final pairings for the college football playoff. You'll be very, very interesting. It's really amazing. And look, I don't mind the NIL money. These kids should be paid. I think some of these guys making $5-6 million a year is ridiculous, but whatever. They should be getting paid. My problem's with the transfer portal, where you can have guys playing 6 years in college football and, for 4 or 5 different schools. I mean, that's unbelievable. And we'll see how many guys now transfer out of Ole Miss now that Kiffin is gone. And hopefully he doesn't start stealing guys over to LSU. I can see that happening too. So we'll see how that all plays out. But yeah, it's amazing. We all thought when they expanded the college football playoff to 12 games that it was that 12 teams that it was going to hurt the college football regular season. BS, because it has not done nothing but enhance it. College football is better than ever as far as the excitement and what you see on the field. Even with the NIL money, even with the transfer portal. So we'll see what happens. But again, very happy with my football team. I think for the first time in years, the arrow is actually pointing up for the Jets. And we'll see what happens. You got the Giants tonight against the Patriots in Foxborough. Jackson Dart's starting. Would love to see the Giants stick it up the Patriots' ass. I mean, New England is due to lose a freaking game. Love to see the Giants win that game. We'll see. Knowing the Giants, they'll wind up blowing a lead late like they always do. We'll see how that plays out. But nevertheless, and one more thing, and there's a report coming out that maybe things weren't so wonderful in the Met locker room last year, right? Now, McNeil and Lindor weren't getting along. That's been going on for 4 years. And even Lindor and Soto, and I could see that, right? I could see where there'd be some issues with Lindor and Soto. Who's the leader of this team? Okay, right? To me, it's Lindor. To me, he should be the captain of the team. I mean, let's be honest about it. Soto just got here. Who cares? And as I heard somebody say today, do you think the 1986 team, do you think everybody loved everybody on the 86 championship team? I don't think so. So, So we've had many great teams over the years. The Oakland A's, who won 3 straight championships, all they did was fight, So the Yankees, how about that? Did Reggie and Thurman get along in the early days with the Yankees? How'd they do? They won back-to-back championships. So, the whole thing with the, Reggie coming in and saying, I'm the straw that stirs the drink. Remember that? And he was. Reggie was the guy that put the Yankees over the top. Let's be honest about it. But whatever. So I could give a damn. Like I said, all I care about right now with the Mets, and also, by the way, Senga wants to stay as a Met. You know what? That's great. He wants to be here. Go stink it up for some other team, okay? Give me a break. But whatever. Again, the only thing that matters to me as a Met fan is signing Pete Alonso and Edwin Diaz. Everything else really doesn't matter to me. I know they need pitching and all that. I get it. Those are the things that matter to me the most. Alonso and Diaz finishing their careers as Mets. That's what matters to me right now for the New York Mets. Everybody have a great day. I'll be on with Jake Asman in a little while. You can check me out there. You can check me out tonight at 4 o'clock with Evan and Tiki. And have a great week as we are now fully into the Christmas season, December 1st. Happy birthday to my daughter, Sam, who's a rip-roaring 47 years old today. I'm sure she wants everybody to tell her how old she is, but that's how old she is. Too bad. Anyway.
Too bad. It is.
You're 47. I wish I was 47, but be that as it may. God bless America. All the love, everybody. Check me out on Friday. Probably we're working on Friday's podcast to have a special guest with us. So we'll see. My daughter Erin will let you know who that is if we get that worked out. All the love. Have a great week.